Hey, I'm Emily and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made these bridesmaids bags. Let's get into it. I bought a package of these burlap bags from Amazon, and as always, all products will be linked in the description below. For this project, you're going to be using heat transfer vinyl. I like to first measure the bag and determine about how large I want the stencil to be. So I'm going to go ahead and measure, and I feel like around 6 inches in length would be good for this project. I'm going to cut out a sheet of vinyl approximately the same size as the mat. I'm doing a few names at once, so I don't need to be super specific with the sizing, I just need to make sure that they all fit on there. And then you're going to place the vinyl glossy side down on the mat. So usually with regular permanent vinyl, you place it glossy side up, but when you're using heat transfer vinyl, you always want to make sure that you're placing it glossy side down. And then I just give it a good rolling with my brayer tool to make sure that it's nice and secure. And then you're ready to move on to actually creating your name in Design Space. So I already have the names ready to go. The font that I used here is called Calmsy. I did purchase it from Creative Fabrica, and I had to make the font a little bit thicker than it usually is, just because it would be a little bit too thin on the bags, which I will post a tutorial on how to make fonts thicker in Design Space in the near future. But for now, I'm just going to arrange the names on the mat so I could get the most use out of my space, but also not have them too close together because then it's going to be hard to cut them out. And the most important thing when working with heat transfer vinyl is you want to make sure that you mirror your design. So over here in the left-hand corner where it says mirror, you're just going to click on that box, and when it's green, that means that it is on. You have to click mirror and it's gonna look weird in Design Space, but just trust the process because once it gets cut and you're weeding it, you'll see that it actually is like the proper way to put it on. Mirroring basically reverses your image, and you want this when you're working with heat transfer vinyl because the front of the design, the glossy side, is down, so you're basically weeding off the back of the vinyl and then flipping it over to put it on your blank. So if you don't mirror it, when you go to flip it over, your design is going to be backwards. I already have Everyday Iron On bookmark, so I'm going to select that and then just keep the pressure setting at default, and it's ready to be cut. Now that my Cricut is done cutting, I'm going to remove the mat from the vinyl as always. I'm just going to cut off any excess vinyl and save the scraps, and I also am just cutting the names out. I absolutely love weeding heat transfer vinyl. I could literally do it all day. It's so satisfying. Once I finish weeding the names, I like to then go back in and measure approximately where I want to place the vinyl. So my names are about 6 inches long, so I just take 6 inches on the measuring tape and kind of make sure that that's what I like and eyeball where the middle would be before I go ahead and actually place it on. And then it's time to use our heat press. So according to the Cricut settings for the burlap bags, it should be 305 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to preheat the bag for 5 seconds. After preheating the bag, I'm going to place my vinyl stencil on and make sure that it's exactly where I want it before I go back in with my heat press. So once I'm ready to put it on, I'm going to press for 30 seconds at 305 degrees Fahrenheit. And you want to make sure that you're pressing as hard as possible. So after I pressed for 30 seconds, I realized that since the bag was very textured, the vinyl wasn't sticking very well. So I brought out my mini heat press. That way I could have more control and precision over where I'm placing the heat to kind of get it to stick better. This is optional. I probably would have been able to do the same thing with just another round of the big heat press, but this just worked out better for me. So I'm gonna turn on my mini heat press and put it at the highest heat. And I'm really applying pressure, especially to the tiny areas like the dot over the eye. And then once I'm finished with that, I'm gonna let it cool completely before I peel. I'm gonna be very careful. I'm gonna peel it very slow in case something didn't stick. I don't wanna ruin my design. And the name is all done. I like to apply some finishing touches, so personally I like to apply some ribbon. I find that it makes it just a little bit cuter. It's all done, so I hope you enjoyed this video. And these are also up for sale on my Etsy shop, which will be linked in the description, or you could just go to Etsy and search DIY with M with 2 M's. And subscribe if you want to see more of my content. See ya!